Hi, this is Adrian from Live to Learn Academy, and today we're going to be going over lesson 5.1 in the Nelson Advanced Functions textbook labeled Graphs of Reciprocal Functions. Now guys, we're on chapter 5, so for all of you guys who have been a part of this channel and this journey, I just want to say a huge thank you for the support. We've really helped grow this channel. If you feel like you are somebody who needs tutoring, feel free to click the link in our description, and our team would love to get in touch with you guys. But without further ado, let's get straight into the lesson. So, graphs of reciprocal functions. So there's two main graphs that you guys want to know. There's the linear functions, and then there's quadratic functions. Okay? Now, obviously, we know linear functions are going to look like this. They're either going to be this for when they're positive, or they're going to look like this when they're negative. Same with quadratic functions. We have a similar kind of thing going on. Quadratic functions we know from grade 10, if they're a happy face, we know they're positive, but if they're a sad face, we know they're negative. So we have linear functions and we have quadratic functions. Now in this unit, what we're going to be talking about is the reciprocal functions. So remember, linear is y equals mx plus b, and quadratic is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. But reciprocal functions are literally the reciprocal. So a reciprocal of a linear function would actually look like this. Y equals 1 over mx plus b. And a quadratic function would be y equals 1 over ax squared plus bx plus c. So linear functions and quadratic functions, they also both have a reciprocal version of that function. So this unit, we're really going to be understanding how do we graph the general reciprocal function. Okay? So with linear functions, the reciprocal of linear functions, you can get two different types of functions. And I'm just going to show you how they're going to look. So there's going to be two types. Obviously, one is going to be for the positive version, and one is going to be for the negative version. So key things that we need to know is in these functions, you're going to have a vertical asymptote and a horizontal asymptote in both of these functions. In the later units, I'm going to show you how to get these vertical asymptotes and horizontal asymptotes. But for the most part, you just need to know that they're there for now, okay? Now, how the function looks like when it's positive is it's going to look like this. So notice how the graph is in this quadrant and this quadrant. And then if the function is negative, it will look like this. So this is the positive version, and this is the negative version. Now, what's important to note with these functions is there's key principles, right? One, you need to know, is it positive or negative? Two, you need to know what the vertical asymptotes, horizontal asymptotes are, so you can graph it. Now, 3, 4, and 5, you're going to need to know other things, such as where are the x-intercepts? Where are the y-intercepts? What is the domain and what is the range of the function? Where is the function increasing and where is the function decreasing? And 6, what are the end behaviors of the function? Now, for this particular lesson, we're not going to get into all of these 6 things, but this is what we're going to need to know as we go into the later parts of chapter 5. But for now, what I want you guys to know is what does a positive linear function look like? Sorry, a positive reciprocal linear function look like? And what does a negative reciprocal linear function look like? So now, why does this differ from a quadratic? A quadratic reciprocal looks slightly different. And I'm going to put 2 of them here so you know the positive version and you'll know the negative version. Okay. So with a positive quadratic, it's going to look like this. You're going to have 2 asymptotes instead of 1. So you'll have 2 asymptotes, 2 vertical asymptotes and 1 horizontal asymptote. So this is the vertical asymptotes and this is the horizontal asymptote. Now with the positive quadratic, what you're going to have is it's going to be in this quadrant, then you're going to have a parabola here, and then you're going to have another thing on the side in the corner. So if you look at this, you have it kind of alternates in this pattern. And the middle guy is always a quadratic. So this is the general shape of these reciprocal functions for quadratic. In the same way we have that, we're going to have the same thing for the negative. But there's going to be a slight difference. And I'll tell you what the slight difference is in a moment. So these are the vertical asymptotes. This is the horizontal asymptote. But in the negative, it's going to look like this. So notice how everything kind of flips. This is the positive, and this is the negative quadratic. So notice how the parabola is actually up here, and then the other two guys are over here. The alternating pattern still exists, but it's just flipped from the previous positive example. And with this function, guys, both of them, we're going to need to know what these 6 things are. So this is going to apply to both of these functions. And we're going to go over this checklist in the later units, but I just want to put them here so you're kind of understanding how we're progressing through these. Another thing on top of end behaviors that I forgot to mention is whether there's a hole, if a hole exists or if a hole doesn't exist. And the other thing to mention is, does an oblique asymptote exist or not? So this OA represents oblique asymptotes. Okay. So this is the main gist of this lesson, guys. With graphs of reciprocal functions, you can have a graph of a linear or you can have a graph of a quadratic, and they each have their own reciprocal identities. The graph of a linear reciprocal would look like everything on this left side, whether it's positive or negative, and then the graph of the quadratic is going to look like everything on this right side, whether it's positive or negative. Depending on which graph you're dealing with, this is the shape of how those graphs are. Those are the key characteristics. And during these test questions, your teacher is going to be asking you, how can you get all of this information from the given graphs that you're asked to find? So hopefully this gives you a general overview of how this chapter is going to look like. If you found this video helpful of just explaining the graphs of reciprocal functions, drop a thumbs up, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next video.